Thank you very much. First, I would like to say CSEA, in my 20 years as president, has always bent over backwards to try to find resolutions in good times and in bad times. Never once have I remembered that CSEA has not come forward to find a resolution. And with any good negotiations, usually both sides walk away not happy. We're now faced with what we know is what the state primarily has caused for us, but not all of it, because some of it is our fault ourselves. Right now on campus, there is a lot of high anxiety, as you can well imagine, but especially now, because what is happening now is creating an unhealthy atmosphere for everybody, and it's quite frankly not a pleasant place to be. Do we need to be here? I don't think so. But CSEA, right now, and personally, I'm very frustrated, and I'm going to tell you why. Part of it is, I don't like to see the COS family, because the COS family throughout the state is well respected for who we are. And that's because who we are, and hopefully who we will still be, is a group of professionals from the board to the bottom. I mean, all the way was a team that worked together, and everybody wanted to work here. I know in some of our latest goings out for employees and stuff, we have not gotten the pools we used to. I don't know the reason for that. I can surmise possibly people hear what's going on. Also, the state issues of money. There's a lot of possibilities. But that makes me nervous. I do not want COS, the family of COS, to come down from where we have been. It's in my 25 years here. This is a great place to work. It is a great place for students to learn. And it's been a great family. And some of what has happened is caused by not just one side, but all sides not listening all the time. And it reminds me, when all this started happening, it reminds me of Dr. Lombardi, for those of remembering when he was here. He and I became close friends, and he disliked crowds, but he loved to see the jazz concerts in the theater. So anytime there was a music thing going on in the theater, he would come up into the booth and lean over my light board and enjoy and discuss what's going on. Well, some of the stuff he imparted to me, his wisdom, because he had a lot of experience in schools, and two things he told me have resonated, and I have brought those forward through the years, but have not been listened to for whatever reason. One of those was he told me, and I told Dr. Bodrikon exactly what he said. Whoever's taking over for me needs to know that I don't know how West Hills got Frank Gornick, but you better watch out for your center status because he is going to steal it away. Those were Dr. Lombardi's exact words. And I told Kim that, and Kim said, oh, don't worry about it, that won't happen. I sat in a meeting when Jim Costa said, don't worry, I'll make sure you have center status. And we all know what happened to that. And that's because we didn't listen to each other. We just thought, oh, it's not going to happen. The other one Dr. Lombardi said was, when you build buildings or build new campuses, and I know we're planning to do that, at Saddleback we made sure we had an endowment fund or a reserve fund set up for those facilities because of utilities and staffing is going to be a must. And if you don't plan for it, you're going to be in trouble. And for those who have sat on the college council for me at least the last 10 years, well, most of them said I harped on it. We needed to set up something for the Tulare Center. We needed to plan for that. Dr. Scroggins says, you're right, we'll do that. And every year I brought up the same issue. Well, don't worry about it. The finances are good. We'll be able to open it up. Again, where are we standing? I mean, the whole state debacle, that's not our fault. But had we done some pre-planning like we had talked, we would not have been in the position we are now. And I think that whole listening thing comes to the point of where we are now. And, oh gosh, I'm terrible with time, so I'll say sometime during Dr. Badr Khan's reign, at least 12 years ago, I think, CSEA came forward about our benefits plan. CSEA has led the charge in my tenure at least 7 times about benefits plan. And we came forward with 3 new plans that would save the district money. They were better plans than what we had, because the plan we had was a custom plan, and it was costing a lot of money. We brought it to Dr. Badr Khan in negotiations. He said he would look into it. He sat down with Lee Quello, our labor rep, and myself after about a week, and these are his exact words. We've decided not to change what we have. We like who we're with, and we're going to stay. And we said, but this is how much extra money we're spending on this. He said, that doesn't matter. The district's paying the bill, so we're going to do it. And I said, so you're going to waste good money just to stay where you are without exploring? He said, yes. That's part of where my frustration comes from, because that is not the only time that has happened. We came forward in negotiations knowing tough times were ahead. You all know me, I sit here, I know what the state we're in, I know what the state's in. It's hitting us all. Dr. Scroggins came to me and said, I have some out-of-the-box ideas, would your team listen to them? I thought, absolutely. So we sat down to very out-of-the-box ideas and decided, all right, let's move forward. And I kid you not, when we were about to write up the tentative agreement, sitting in the room, Brent, John, there was the whole team sat there. We were putting the language down for the tentative. Dr. Scroggins, for what reason, I don't know why, brought up 2 items we had never discussed. It says, well, in the tentative, we need this in there. We go, whoa, wait a minute, those are huge items. We can't do that. It was almost like he was purposely doing something to sabotage what's going on. We said, we need a caucus. We went in, does anybody know where this came from? We didn't know. We went in to meet with Dr. Scroggins. He said, well, you know what? That's what it is now, and if we're done, we're at impasse. Very glibly, with a smile on his face. And that frustrated me, because of all the work we'd gone through, and he just kind of sloughed us off and said, we're at impasse. I don't believe that was legal, that we should have gotten impasse that fast, but here we are. In mediation, we met with Brent Calvin. He came forward with some ideas. We met with those ideas. We agreed with him. He came back to you, and you turned those ideas down. Now, I understand why. Because in the time we had met with Brent and came back to you, the state dropped another bombshell on top of us. So I understand that. But then talk stopped again. We now have a new president. We met on mediation, and this is where a lot of frustrations come in, because I don't know the full story behind it. We came in with a lot of hard cuts, a lot of hard things, a lot of hard decisions to make, because we know what needs to happen. There's no secret. We sat down with the mediator and asked, can we talk about anything besides the white elephant with the baseball cap on his head? He went in and came back and said, no. And we said, well, we have some ideas. We're willing to talk. He came back and says, you need to set another date because you need to meet with your membership. That, to me, was extremely frustrating, because we had worked hard to bring this college through these rough times as best we can. And we weren't able to even dialogue at all. Now, whether that was you, the board, telling the president, we don't want to hear ideas, I don't know. If that was indeed true, I don't think that's a very good decision, because all ideas need to be heard, because you never know who's going to have the right one. If it was the president's decision to say, I don't want to hear anything, then I don't think that's a good thing either, because that's not going to help the COS family. And if it was the mediator not putting forward exactly what was said by both sides, which is completely possible again, I don't know. I just know that we are standing here trying to find another meeting to come back, and hopefully we're going to be listened to. Because we have come forward with many cuts and ideas throughout the years. Some of them we came forward with 3 or 4 years ago. Dr. Scroggins took some, but not others. But some of those others in the last couple of years have been implemented just because of the sheer fact of where we are on the budget. The number one question I'm getting right now is the COS CSEA, the classified staff is down to about 177 employees. We were up around 200. Cuts have been made. The faculty, the adjunct faculty have been cut down. The number of students have been cut down. And yet, according to the administration, we have 35 administrators still on staff. Those are the highest cost, and yet their numbers remain the highest we've ever had, and everybody else has come down. So the question they keep asking me, how is that possible? I said, I don't know. And that's a question I think we need to discuss and dialogue and learn from, because those are the high salaries. And now where we sit now, the kinds of cuts we're talking about, which are blanket cuts, hurt the little guy the most. CSEA is just about classified about a quarter of the budget. But our salaries are the least. So a blanket cut to us hurts a lot more than it does as you go up that ladder. So that's why we had some other ideas how to save money, as well as how to help with the benefits, etc. I mean, there's just a lot out there. And as you can see, there is a lot of frustration in my voice because I've never come up against a wall where nobody's willing to listen. And as I say, this last session, for those who were, my negotiating team sitting in the room, I got very quiet. And it reminded me of the time, as all us parents know, when your kids push that button and you feel that inner fury coming up inside, and you're like, I don't want to explode in them, but you do. I could feel that inside me bubbling. It's like, no one's even going to listen to us. I don't want to see that happen. So I'm asking you, the board and the president, this whole mediation process, we need to move past that. We need to sit down and discuss things, because we know there's hard cuts to be made, and we are willing to do our share, do our part. There is no doubt about that. I think that's all I have to say. For the classified staff, as I say, a lot of people are scared. And they have good reason to be, because the state has put us in this position. But it's not all their fault. The Tulare Center not pre-planning, the Hanford not getting center status. We had position to do that, and we did not listen to each other. So I just ask you all to please think about what you're doing to the COS family. Thank you. Any questions?
Any questions? Comment?
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.